rated now 6060 miles per hour.
A man wanted by 3 different police forces is trying to escape from the Metropolitan Police. Also on his tail are the Sky Cops in India 99.
The speed is 7070 towards the road is clear.
The car is stolen and the man in it is a suspected kidnapper.
Okay, there's a hospital there.
That's on the nose with the blue line.
Okay, yeah, I've got it, I'm following it.
That's it? Yeah, you've got it on screen.
I've got it on screen.
He was barely keeping control. He'd lost at least one of the tyres, so it was only a matter of time before it got a lot more serious.
Tonight, the rookies get their chance to shine as they chase criminals prepared to risk life and limb to get away.
Looks like he's down, he's injured.
Making sure there's no place to hide.
Hey.
Dogs found him.
Subject has been detained. Yes, received. The speed is 7070 miles per hour. The roads are clear.
In West London, the crew of India 99 are still on the trail of the man wanted for kidnapping.
Minor roadworks, going through a green light. Vehicle is still at 70 miles per hour. Which one is it?
Controlling 99's camera is a rookie Sky Cop, PC Boxhall Hunt.
When we arrived, and it had been going on for some time, and the driving had been getting worse and worse. He had gone up the wrong way round Hammersmith one-way system and had gone head-on with other cars, so it's quite important that we got there.
Which one is it?
In the back seat is a veteran Sky Cop, PC Redhead.
Tango 1, Tango 3, if you could just back up slightly. India 99 to take over the commentary, please, Angela.
Received MP, it's eastbound Kensington High Street at the moment.
The desperate man is heading into the centre of London. PC Redhead is now in charge of the pursuit and everyone involved in it.
Can we go down a little bit, Chris, if you're happy?
Yeah.
At the controls of 99 is another new boy, Captain Daly, a former army pilot.
In a way, it's very akin to tactical flying because it's a very fluid situation. You're having to make very quick decisions. You're having to utilise all your flying skills to position the aircraft, keep up with the pursuit, and listen to what's happening between the police and the observers. So it uses all your skills, really, and a lot of experience from the military comes forward into that.
It's going to loosen behind the back of this building, and it's going to try and bring it.
Yeah, go for it. I can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's lost behind the building.
It's now 6 a.m. and the situation on the ground is getting worse. The wanted man is also a disqualified driver, and the stolen car is falling to pieces.
It's really heating up at the back there.
Right.
And it's now wrong side of the roundabout, northbound up the southbound track of Park Lane, and it's off, back towards High Park Corner.
It's going to be a decamp, bang to the back of the car.
I'm going with the driver.
Decamp.
It's still dark on the streets, and the police on the ground can't see the fugitive or where he's heading, but the Sky Cops can.
Oh!
That's got to hurt.
Down in towards the underpass.
Looks like he's down. He's injured.
Coming up from...
Get back around, Chris.
We could see that it was quite high, 20, 30-foot drop on the other side, but he obviously couldn't at night, so he jumped over what he thought was a low fence and then dropped.
Right, units with blues, stop. He's over the barriers on your right, and MP, consider an ambulance. He's lying on the ground at the base of where he dropped down. I don't know if he's hiding or whether he's injured. Yeah, he's definitely not moving. I wouldn't have done that, actually.
No.
And officers approaching now.
Yes, that's all received. We'll get an ambulance called down for you. 5, please. One detained in cuffs on the floor, over.
Sometimes you do catch your breath and gasp at things that happen. They like to push the limits all the time, and those limits are always changing and increasing.
I think we'll leave it to them, guys. Is it dusk yet? Got time for another follow now.
Time for what?
Another follow.
How about a cup of tea? Can I get a cup of tea?
You haven't earned it yet.
Hey, that was a good chase, that. I wanted it to go on longer. I was all over it.
Good result.
Yeah.
Monza.
India 99 is based at Lippets Hill on the edge of Epping Forest to the east of London. Every day, London Sky Cops get 100 requests to help their fellow officers in the capital. The control tower at the base is their nerve centre.
LOS Support Unit.
Calling the shots today is Cara Bond.
My role here basically is to go through all the incoming calls, sift any requests, and decide whether they're suitable for us to attend to, and then dispatch the aircraft to the job if necessary, whether they're on the ground or in the air.
While it's business as usual for most of the duty aircrew, it's a day of reckoning for 12 visitors.
So once I've scored your number, if you just come and stand here by the green wall, I'll just take a quick picture of you. Miller.
Each is a serving police officer desperate to fill one of the 2 vacancies in the Sky Cops team.
This week is the final phase, if you like. We're down to the last 12 contenders. We've got 2 posts available, but if all 12 don't make the standard, then nobody will be selected.
Brandon.
It's something I've always wanted to do since I've joined. A bit of a childhood dream as well.
When I joined the job over 10 years ago, this is where I sought to be, and this is my opportunity.
If you come across well and you're yourself, then hopefully they'll decide whether you're any good for the job or not. This is actually horrible.
And it's going to get worse. All these wannabe Sky Cops are going to be tested to the limit.
We're looking for people who have some understanding of what the police expect on the ground from the aircraft, but also we're expecting them to be able to work in that unique environment, be able to work as a member of a small team, be able to listen to several conversations at a time, be able to manage technology. So that's part of the individual that we're looking for.
London Sky Cops have 3 helicopters. Each aircraft has a crew of 3, a pilot and 2 police observers.
We're complete now. We're going to leave the area to the northwest.
Many of their tasks aren't linked to crime. Today they're off to watch the beautiful game. Tottenham are playing Arsenal at home, and there could be trouble.
If everyone's one, I'm just going to wander around.
OK, if you reach up with your left hand, Bill, if you reach down with your left hand.
Meanwhile, deep in Epping Forest, the wannabe Sky Cops are facing their worst nightmare, the assault course.
You are over your time.
Now you start to see the natural sort of people coming out. They were talking. People are starting to come out of their shell a little bit.
Every one of the 12 contenders must literally reach for the sky.
Remember, don't touch the rope. This is not fun.
And undergo a leap of faith.
3, 2, 1, go!
We're looking to move into winching and operations like that, which do involve moving around the aircraft. And this will test that. It does test your levels of fitness and confidence as well with pilots.
Well done. Well done.
I think we all volunteered for this. It's mad.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
You are under a lot of pressure to get it right all the time. So as the week went on and the pressure built, someone who was maybe trying to be someone they're not, the pressure would get to them.
Remember what we said about all for one and everyone goes, yeah, I blow that guy, it's every man for himself.
They're trying to get on and show that they're members of a team, that they can play the team thing, and yet deep down they know that they're in competition with their peers.
Come on, keep going.
The candidate that goes forward should be the most suitable for the job, so I can understand why it is quite as strenuous and as long as it is.
to do well today and for me to do well for the rest of the week means everything.
Come on, go away.
Away. Right.
The wings, as it were, would be a huge personal achievement for me.
All the way up there, look.
Yes, if all those units are this evening,
blocked up both directions.
In Tottenham, the soccer fans aren't kicking off yet, but in 9-9 there's another game afoot.
I was watching the rugby last night in the pub, and that is good. The difference between them and football is just unbelievable, isn't it? Just overpaid. No, of course they're overpaid. No, they're not.
Back at Lippets Hill, the 12 coppers are still trying to impress.
See, I was just waiting for him to liven it up a bit, open up the door and
I think even at this stage, 3 or 4 of the individuals are just a little bit more noticeable because of the way they're presenting themselves at the moment.
That's always me. What's this big red one that says don't press? We all want the job really badly. We all seem to get on, but you can't help but look at each other as competition.
It's definitely a competitive environment this week. There's 12 of us here. I think we've all got to try and be number one.
The worst bit for me, I think...
PC Dalton is a fully fledged Sky Cop. Just this time last year, he too was in the same boat as these applicants.
Funny to see them all here. It seems like only yesterday that I was doing it myself, and they're going to be quite stressed out. But I think that's part of the test in itself. Some people thrive on pressure. Other people, it starts to show. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on.
In Tottenham, it's game over. Arsenal 3, Tottenham 1. Also heading south are the crew of 9-9.
I'm receiving a delivery.
Oh, gift from heaven. Go for details.
Yeah, I've got a job for you.
Page 221 Zulu Delta, if you've got the fuel, please.
That's believed to be on the roof
of the school. If you could have a little look, please.
We're heading exactly the right direction. Okay.
The crew know they're going in the right direction because they have a new camera, which automatically locks on to their chosen target.
The aircraft is equipped with a camera pointing system, which actually talks to the camera. What we can do is type in an address, and the camera will actually, what they call a slew, it will move on its turret and it will lock onto the address that we're heading towards.
Is that the roof there, do you think?
Yeah, that's it.
There's someone on it, someone on the roof. Still looks like he's ripping stuff up.
Still it does from 9-9. We've got one suspect on the roof. We're still a couple of miles off, but we've got visual.
As fate would have it, we saw these guys on the roof running along before they'd even heard us, which was a really good result. It's nice to use that kit, and occasionally you get the chance to use it in that manner, and it's really effective.
Actually, stand by. We've got 2 people, 2 on the roof, 3 people, 4 suspects, all on the roof.
They were behind a bit of a low wall on the roof, and they were completely out of sight. But from our point of view, we were above them, and we could see them, so we directed ground officers to them.
What's that in his right hand?
I don't know. Okay, where are they out the window?
The people on the roof are teenagers, juveniles stealing lead.
Here, I'm coming round, Bruce. Keep them inside as best you can.
Okay, mate, no problem at all. There you go. They're going into the open. They're running. One's running.
They've either seen or heard the helicopter.
Actually in the playground now, running.
The boys don't know it, but the Sky Cops have called in reinforcements.
In the
1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all splitting up.
Okay, start.
Plainclothed detectives from the local NIC.
Okay, start. Looks like they might be rejoining again. There's 2 climbing over there. Are they all built? Yes, they are. Oh, you need to stand by, please. Stand by. We've got 2 unmarked officers chasing in the playground there. It looks like all 4 have now been detained by these 2, but obviously if we could have some more officers with them as soon as possible.
That was an easy 4 bodies. That was good.
Into 9-9, can you see the lead that's been removed along the wall?
You know, correcting from 9-9, there is definite damage to a lot of the roof, or it's all been recorded.
Just up here.
Doing it.
Everything that we do is recorded as a matter of course. And in some instances like that one, there wouldn't have been anything concrete to prove what was going on, but because of the power of the camera. So we had a continuity of evidence which basically tied them to what they were doing before. There was no real way they could deny it. We had them at the location committing the act.
The lead thieves won't know they've been caught on camera until they are charged.
Hey, 4 burglars.
That goes to show you that slewing the camera is a good idea.
Do it early, even if you don't use it for navigation, get it on.
Definitely, that's a big lesson.
At Lippets Hill, PC Tartaglia must put his success to one side, as it's his turn to subject the wannabes to the chase test.
You're going to be looking aircraft eye view of a pursuit. So when you look down and you see a car go that way, it's going that way across the screen, but it's doing a left, so try and keep your spatial awareness up. What I'd like you to do with your markers is just trace the route that you think the car is taking on the bit of paper with your highlighter pen.
All video material recorded by the Sky Cops is potential evidence, and every air observer must be able to keep the camera locked on and fully focused, even when the helicopter is going in a different direction.
Got him.
Yeah, got him. We're recording. You can get a bit tunnel vision. You tend to be more that way when you start using it because you're so intent on the controls and the screen, and you tend to get drawn in. But one of the side effects of that is that you start to get a little bit of motion sickness. But once you get handy with the way it works, you can then run it, and so it's working for you rather than the other way around. If you lose it, don't wig out, because that's the point where the whole world starts spinning and everything goes, oh, I've lost it, oh, look, and you know, because it happens for real. The idea of this is to see if you can cope with it.
We're looking for police officers who can demonstrate their knowledge and experiences in a variety of police operational backgrounds, and also working in a small team environment under pressure. Because in the aircraft, there's a lot of information coming in. You've got to assimilate the information and make decisions in a very, very short time.
Now, on page 122...
It was very difficult. If you lose direction within just a few seconds, you find yourself going entirely the wrong direction, and I just kind of lost it at one point.
PC Dalton no longer loses it, but he's only been a fully qualified Sky Cop for 12 weeks. He's still a rookie.
India 99, I'm receiving India Lima. Yeah, chaps, don't forget you've got that drugs warrant to assist with over on Quebec Alpha's ground. Looking to go in about 3:30.
The Met are about to raid a suspected drug dealer's house.
We've got information received that the occupiers are dealing crack cocaine and heroin. The information also states that they're actually now accepting stolen goods as a form of payment for the drugs. The air support unit are going to be there waiting as well, so if they do slip past you, they're not going to get away from the helicopter.
This is Rookie's Day. Every one of these officers is on their first drugs bust. They've just finished their training, and like PC Dalton in India 99, they're learning lessons.
If you slow it down, it should be the block of flats to the right, with that block there. Once they go in, we can go right in.
It's the sort of job that we get involved in quite regularly. The back of the property may be inaccessible by means of gardens or a railway line or a major road or something, which they just don't have the capacity of officers to cover. So that's where the aircraft comes into its own, and we can be on the lookout for anybody that decides to try and do a runner or to dispose of evidence.
Good afternoon to you. Just to let you know, we are nearby.
We're at the RBT outside police station. We'll be leaving in a few minutes.
Because it's a drugs address, we're expecting needles to be there. 2 pairs of gloves are going to give you a lot more protection than one if you do see any needles. Don't pick them up if you do see them. We're going to get weapons tubes. We'll scoop them up carefully.
A few days ago, these officers were in training. This time, it's for real.
Yeah, sit there with the enforcer because you'll be first out running at the door with it. Well, you'll be running a bit slower than Right, Alia.
1,000 feet over the intended target, the Sky Cops are already waiting.
This is a nice angle, Rich, because obviously we've got the tree there, but...
India 99, we're at the location now. Over.
All received. Moving in now.
India 99 must cover the back, in case the plan goes wrong and the suspects run for it.
Okay.
Police, stay where you are! Police!
Please get out!
Police! I'm not kidding! What are you doing? Do you fight? Get up! Get up! Move! Quiet, get that camera out!
We've got a warrant to come and search your address, OK? So that's what we're going to do now.
Not much further. That's good there, mate. Beautiful.
As 99 hovers, the rookies below are making progress.
Keep everybody in the group down then.
It's a bust right out of the textbook. Way out.
Tension's really high because you don't know what to expect behind the door. I mean, it could be anything. It could be someone with weapons, or you don't know how many people are in there and how they're going to react. In the classroom, everyone stands still and they do exactly what you tell them to do. But when you get out on the streets, it's a completely different scenario.
Calm down now. No, you're not coming in my house like this.
I appreciate you don't want to see it. I appreciate that's frustrating for you, but we are going to have to search the address, all right?
You do what you want, mate.
That's what we're going to do now.
And now there's a problem. The rookies need to get a drug dog in to search the place. They can't because there's a cat about. The rookies haven't only managed to find the cat, they've also got credit cards that shouldn't be there and an imitation firearm, but no drugs.
All right. These old bank documents with someone else's name as well? Sorry? All the documents someone else's name. Did you want to swap and you can take photographs? We've got exhibits already in the living room. What's the first exhibit going to be? Do you know yet?
The first exhibit is
It's going to be that credit card.
Thank you very much, India 99.
Premises secured, 99 over.
Yes, premises secure. Thank you, India 99.
Outstanding.
RTB. Roger.
Calm down.
The crew of 9-9 are very calm and on their way home.
A success. Nobody came out the back, and the premises was secure. Anybody that was inside was restrained, etc. And that's the ideal scenario.
7 p.m. The night shift is on the case. Duty pilot Captain Watts is a worried man. The weather's turning nasty, and that means difficult flying conditions.
As you get waves of rain and drizzle come through, but it is going to be pretty grim in terms of kind of a few hundred feet and a couple of thousand metres.
Julie McEwen commands the control room, and she's found something for 9-9. Another lead thief.
India 9, Lima.
A man has been seen stealing lead from the roof of an old folks' home in Croydon in South London.
Audio tech 2, excellent.
He's been chased into gardens nearby, but it's so dark he can't be found.
Heading out that in a southwestish, isn't he? So I'm just going to try and cut him off.
This is where the Sky Cops come into their own. It can take cops on the ground 450 hours to search 1 kilometre of gardens, but with their thermal imaging camera, the Sky Cops can do it in just 12 minutes.
And when you see it on the thermal imaging camera, you don't realise just how black it is down there. It's impossible to see anything. And the chap also thought he had a nice hiding place.
Oh, that's looking good.
That might be our man.
It might well be.
Blue line just through a fence.
Yeah, the officer that's with the dog handler, if you go back towards the alleyway, it will be on your right-hand side where the fence appears to meet, I think it's a gazebo or an outbuilding. The suspect's stuck right against the fence as you look at the dog on your right-hand side.
The dog section have close contact with the air support unit. They come up here and train with us. So a lot of the time, if we've got foot duty units on the ground and a dog handler, we'll normally liaise with the dog handler. And it's also good training for the dog if we do get a suspect.
The dog about to get some training is called Cara, and her handler can't see the lead thief, even though he's only feet away.
I shouted out a warning, asking the chap to come out, give himself up, otherwise a police dog would be deployed to find him. He refused to come out.
The dog's found him.
Yeah, the dog's got the suspect now. There's no units in. Poor chap's losing his trousers.
The dog's going to take him to the nick, I think.
Just just going to drag him all the way there.
You got any units to assist the dog bag?
The whole area was pitch black, and you can't see anything. It's not uncommon in this day and age for them to be armed with a weapon, or if not a firearm. It's much better to deploy a police dog, so I can enter an area knowing that my dog will find it before it becomes a threat to me.
Dog handler's now talking the suspect out to the fence line. We've got several officers waiting to greet him. I'm direct. Zuda, any more outstanding?
From Zillidale, sir, that's all at this moment in time. Thanks very much for your assistance, Zillidale.
It's the final day of the final week of assessment for the 12 wannabe Sky Cops, and 7 of those are about to be sent home.
We're all full of nerves today. Today's the make or break.
Only 5 will be given the opportunity of a lifetime to continue the assessment with a flight in India 99.
We've done our best. Each of us have done our best, and that's all we can do.
Sergeant Brandon is the unit's chief instructor and the Sky Cop with the veto.
Working environment as we can. The not ready pile I'm happy with, and stands. The contenders and the think-abouts have been a bit of shuffling around.
Yeah, there's a couple that from the start have looked very, very good.
They've looked good throughout the week, haven't they?
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the people we've chosen. I'm happy to put them in a flight test.
The moment of truth.
I remember how I felt, thinking that there was a possibility that I could get through and get onto the unit. But at the same time, I remember how sort of nervous and apprehensive I was at every stage, wondering if this would be the stage that I didn't get through.
Getting this was good, but this is just nerve-wracking now because we just want to know.
I'd rather not.
Well, they've told me that I am through for tomorrow, which is a flight test, so I'm obviously ecstatic.
Yeah, bonus. So I got through. I didn't make it, basically, on this one, but they were quite impressed with my potential.
For the 7 officers rejected, this is as close to a helicopter as they'll ever get.
You've got to be in it to win it, so we encourage people to put themselves through it, and I would like to think that everybody who's gone through this, successful or not, has learned from it or has felt that they've had some sort of achievement, even if the end result is that they've not been lucky enough to get the job.
The driver of the stolen car, who was wanted by 3 different police forces, was sentenced to 9 months. The 4 boys stealing lead from the roof received juvenile reprimands. No drugs were found at the flat and no charges were brought against its occupiers. And the thief caught by the police dog received a community punishment order.